It has been a day of celebration, protest, and activism here in this country and right around the world. Today is the 44th annual International Women's Day, though its roots go back much further, to the early 20th century and women's fight for the right to vote. On that front, there have been clear gains. But tonight, we want to explore the ongoing drive for equality and all of the arenas where it can still feel like an uphill battle. The corporate boardroom is perhaps among the most stubborn of these arenas. Women make up only a small fraction of senior executives in North America. But as Kim Brunhuber shows us, a new law is designed to change that.
In an all-woman workspace on the west side of Los Angeles, female executives mingle, waiting for a workshop to start. It's run by the Board List, a networking platform that helps women seize one of the most prestigious and male-dominated perks of the corporate world, a seat on the board of directors.
So it simply makes good business sense for women to be in the boardroom.
More than just good sense, in California, it's now the law. All publicly traded companies headquartered in the state must have at least one woman director. For larger boards, that number could rise to up to 3. The women here say it's the only way to achieve gender parity. Right now in California, female directors only hold about 15% of board seats, and more than a quarter of the state's boardrooms have no women at all.
It was going to take decades to get there. The fact that we need to accelerate it with legislation is a little disheartening.
When you start talking about, things like quotas, you start raising the specter of tokenism.
Actually, it's probably the most common misperception. There is definitely not a shortage of qualified female candidates. The issue is more one of awareness and exposure to those candidates.
But there are skeptics. Some research suggests the law would only really apply to about 72 California companies. The one Fortune 500 company affected, Apple, would only have to add one more woman to its board. And the law might have at least 2 fatal flaws. Because it's gender-based, and because it also affects companies headquartered in California but incorporated in other states, a court may rule it unconstitutional.
Do you think this law will survive a challenge?
I think there's a substantial risk that this law will not survive a challenge.
Even if the courts water down the law, advocates say it may still send a powerful message which could prompt change elsewhere. Montreal native Kathleen Coleman, who now works for Google in Los Angeles, said trying to crack the boys' club can be frustrating on both sides of the border. She hopes the California law will inspire a similar mandate in Canada.
I'm a big fan of experiments, right? So you change the law and then see what happens.
Maybe even expand the law, she says, to require boards to be diverse in more ways than just one. Kim Brunhuber, CBC News, Los Angeles.
Now, outside the boardroom, Canadian women are still consistently paid less than men, about 25% less. And not much has changed in 5 years. In 2014, the average weekly wage rate for men was just over $1,000. For women, less than $800. Fast forward to last year, when men averaged about $1,100 per week. For women, it was less than $900, only about a 2% improvement in the gap.